And we're live. My name is Tommo, and welcome to the 2023 Las Vegas Grand Prix pre-race Chinwag predictions time. Roll intro. I'm trying my best here. I'm quite sick. I woke up in the morning this morning, not that long ago, like at 9, and I didn't want to get out of bed. It feels like someone's filled my ears and my nose with concrete, but we move. There's no paid time off in this job. So. Nah, we carry on. And you know what? This is good for me. This is good for me to get my voice up. My voice will probably go slowly as this podcast live stream, wherever you're consuming, wherever you are in the world. I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best, people. Welcome. Thank you all for coming. And big shout out to Jamie, straight out of the back. Jamie, you are a long-term supporter and subscriber, and I appreciate you. And thank you very much for the 15 Aussie dollars. Far too generous, mate. Far too generous. And also, welcome Chris Taylor. First time watching live. Normally you're working. Well, listen. Different timings, you know. 10 a.m. start today. And this is going to be a pretty mad weekend, isn't it? It's going to be a pretty mad weekend. And I'm not talking about on track. Necessarily. Mic problems. Are we good, Sava? The mic is shocking, bro. No way you have the right input. Interesting. Let me double check. What's going on here? Why is it... Is this any better? Is this better? Sounds like you're in a fish tank. Okay. I don't know why that's never done that before, but we move anyway. Right, shall I redo my little intro just for the audio only people? Welcome to my 2023 pre-race prediction Chinwag for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Audio only listeners, you definitely didn't hear the shocking audio at the start. We move. Thank you everyone for coming. Welcome. Right, who's in the live chat? Welcome Adrian, Jamer, Emmy, Nathan, North Star, Funky Carton, Danny, Tim, Tulsi, David, Charmander, Danny, Sava, Scardrone, Little Nick, Alex, Kerwin, Tevazion, Nahom, Lars. Sonoda's winning on Sunday. Oh Lars. Don't give me that hope. Don't do it to me, pal. Don't do it to me. Maximilian, April, Jeff, Mad Panda, Aldo, Christian, Rohan, Yoss, Tamid, Linen, William. Thank you all for coming. Right, we've got a lot to talk about. We have got a lot to talk about for a pre-race Chinwag anyway. Sometimes these can be a little bit, we're just kind of going through the motions and just getting all the... But there's a lot to cover, both attached to the race and a little bit at the end that's maybe not so attached to the race, which will be started. And have I started the Brawn documentary, Max? I've watched 3 of 4 episodes. I was only going to watch 1 last night, and I ended up watching 3. Because it was really good. It was really nostalgic. Nostalgic, I'd say, is my... Because I do remember that season reasonably well. But, I mean, obviously watching the documentary as well reminds me of a lot of... I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's on Disney+. If you want to watch the documentary, I would recommend it. I very much enjoyed it. My main critique is the attempt to paint Brawn at times as this like new team that came out of nowhere. I mean, it was Honda rebadged. Yes, obviously they had to get the Mercedes engine in, which was a challenge. A lot of people lost their jobs. I completely understand all of that. But it's not like it was a new team that came out of nowhere. Like, Honda did throw a lot of money at that, hence why they had such a good car at the start. But still. Doesn't take away from I just think, sometimes there's a few quotes that are like, well, hang on, no, they're not a brand new team, are they? They're not like when Haas turned up in 2016. I mean, even then they took over Marusha's stuff, but Marusha's were backmarkers. Anyway, right. Whatever. I digress. Thank you, Luke, by the way. 30 months of being a channel member. £2 a month if you want to support me, £2 a month. There's a join button below on YouTube. You get some... Your comments stand out a bit more. You get some nice stickers. You get like a different colour on your name. If you value that stuff, it helps me out a little bit. So, yeah. Whatever floats your goat. You know what I mean? Whatever floats your goat. Right. Let's get into it. Again, audio only, podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Pixo, radio. Tommo on the radio. You dress like you're going to the race. It's because I don't feel well, George. I just want to be warm. Yeah, let's see. Look, Luke, Max, Charmander all showing off their little emojis, custom emojis. I need to update them, man. God, I made them time ago. Well, you see that there's the Daniel Ricciardo in McLaren, Sainz in Ferrari, Bottas in Renault overalls, which are, I predicted 2 or 3 of those. Bottas didn't quite go to Renault, did he? But there you go. Please. I think now YouTube allows like me to add more, because I think there was limited the amount of emojis I could add back then. Anyway, whatever. Shut up, Tommo. Get on with it. Nobody cares. Right, round 22, Las Vegas, the penultimate round of the 2023 Formula One season. Sphere, you can see in the image if you're watching on YouTube. The sphere is there, and I don't know what more to say that hasn't already been said about the track this weekend. We'll see. We will see. There's so many unknowns. I think it's overly cynical to give up on Vegas before we've even seen it. Like, oh, it's just going to be trash and it's going to be cold and blah blah blah. Like, we'll see. Maybe, you know what? It might shock us. And you know what? The first ever Azerbaijan Grand Prix was a bit dead. And since then, they've been pretty much good. And there's been the odd stinker still. But let's just hold our horses a little bit, right? Having a race in Vegas, obviously, it's a huge deal to Formula One. They're bankrolling this event themselves. They've already spent, it's going to be probably close to $1 billion all told, isn't it? We know they've already spent over 500 million. In terms of getting this event. And again, typically it's a promoter who pays all this, and they're like paying F1 to host the event, but F1 are paying for this out of their own pocket. And we'll see how it goes. There's a 10-year deal. If it works, if it's good, I'm all here for it, I've said this before. I know people criticize that the number of races in the US, I've not got so much of a problem with it, because the US is a massive country. You've got to think of it more as a continent, like relative to Europe. Look at how many races are in Europe, and North America is bigger than Europe. So I think I would like to see, obviously, Laguna Seca, Watkins Glen. There's other tracks I'd like to see. I would prefer in principle Vegas over Miami. I would happily ditch Miami if Vegas was decent. That's the problem, though. Miami's been a bit of a bum race. If Miami was a pleasant surprise, then I think there'd be a bit less cynicism around Vegas. But we'll see. 10-year deal. Yeah, it is a mad to sign up to. And obviously, look, this is the first one. I'm sure there was a lot of teething problems. Obviously, a lot of issues with the locals, understandably, of course. Yeah, but it's Vegas. I don't know what. Maybe I'm just being a bit insensitive and naive to the realities, right? But a place like Vegas, I know people complaining about them putting up trees. Like, those trees, this is the middle of the desert. This is like the most artificial place in the world. Those trees will just be replanted or something. Like, I don't know. If it was in an area of natural beauty, if they built the track in the middle of like Yosemite National Park or something and ripped up like I'll get that. But in Vegas, I don't know. Mate, look, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just naive, but this is the most artificial place in the world. And having a Formula One race there does make a lot of sense. If you're going to have a street circuit anywhere in the world, I think Vegas is up there. And yeah, of course, CPB, definitely. Indianapolis. My dream 3-race US calendar would be Indianapolis. It would be COTA. And I like the idea of Laguna Seca, but I just don't know if that would work with F1. There's just it would punish, though. Yeah, you know what? Sod it. Yeah, Laguna Seca. So you've got California covered. COTA. So this is like Texas. And then Indianapolis is more towards I know it's not East Coast, obviously. It's kind of... But it's more on the east side of the country. and it's not grade 1, but you make it grade 1. You know, just make it grade 1. Simple. You know what? I Watkins Glen's cool. I don't have as much nostalgic attachment to Watkins Glen, but Laguna Seca was like one of my favourite tracks to drive in my old Forza days. You know, Road America would be cool. I really like Road Atlanta, but not for F1. Road America would be really cool actually. Maybe that would be a bit more, but again, I want, you know, I want F1 to, if it's going to go to the US, I want it to cover the US in a very, like the diversity of the country. I want it to, you know, an East Coast, a West Coast, a middle, you know what I mean? Mount Panorama would be, well, that's, first of all, that's in Australia, Charmander. Secondly, that would be jokes. Maybe that would be just jokes for just a one-off, like a time trial event. That would be unreal. But anyway, look, I'm cautiously, I'm trying not to get too down and just, oh, it's Vegas, I'm just going to be against it out of principle. I'm not going to go against it out of principle. I understand there's a lot of issues and concerns with it, but I'm open. I'm open to having a good time, okay? I think that's where you got to be in life, okay? Sometimes the cynicism is worth it, but in this instance, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a fair shot, okay? Las Vegas Grand Prix on the upside down pig or cow street circuit. It looks like a cow, the track, or a pig. And did I watch the opening ceremony? You know what? Yeah, I caught a bit of it this morning when they're like, so paint the picture. They've got all these big plinths with the drivers on top of them, and then they've got Alex Jakes. Shout out Alex Jakes. And then he's like, Team Williams, Team Alfa Romeo, Team Mercedes, Team Ferrari. It's just the team thing is very. You Americans love that, don't you? It's got to be team something. Team. You know what? It wasn't as, from what I've only seen that. Okay, I've not been up long again. I'm not a well man, but it wasn't as bad as when you had in Miami. Who was it who was doing the announcing everyone coming out, all the drivers one by one, and it's the local boy Logan Sargent. That was terrible. That was terrible. Verstappen hated it. I know. No, it wasn't Crofty. It was someone else. Some American fella. I can't remember it. LL Cool J. That's it. LL Cool J. JJ Cool. Who's JJ Cool as Javier? Oh, brilliant. They did Yuki Day. Yeah, they did do Yuki Day because Alex was like, he was like, it's Daniel Ricciardo. Sorry, Team AlphaTauri. It's like Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, poor Yuki, man. I mean, look, Daniel was a huge deal in the States. I kind of get it, right? But, oh yeah, Chuck Leclerc, that was good as well. Chuck Leclerc. Phenomenal stuff. Look, you know what? So what I'm most interested for this weekend is to see how much of the Vegas magic, for want of a better term, is accurately communicated in the broadcast. Because I can understand, like, being in Vegas, right? Being in the paddock and being, like, you're going to feel that vibe, right? You got the big sphere and all the glitz and all that. How much of that is actually communicated to the 99% of us who are not going to be there? Like, is anyone in chat going to Vegas? Because, like, most of us aren't. So it's the broadcast job to communicate all of this to the audience watching at home. So, G-Mac's going. There you go. Big up. That's my biggest thing. Which again, look, other events. I think Monza communicates the Italian, sentiment very well. I think obviously Zandvoort, you see all the flares, and I think certain tracks do a good job of really embracing it. And ultimately, if we're going to be in Vegas, you got to do it Vegas style. There's no point being here if you're not going to lean into what makes Vegas Vegas. And I want to see that more from tracks. I want to see tracks reflecting their location and their people and their culture. because it's a global series. Like, not many sports do this, where the sport is at all times on a global level. There's no like home leagues or anything. The whole thing's global. So I want to see that, even if it is a bit cringe. That we're in Vegas, man. It's what I expected. Nobody in chat is going, it's 3 a.m. in Vegas. Nobody sleeps, Cal. What are you talking about? No one sleeps in Vegas. It's a city that never sleeps. Oh, brilliant. It rained a lot tonight, did it? Interesting. Did I watch the Netflix Cup, Robert? Yes. I not the whole thing. I didn't make it all night. But I did watch about an hour of it. There's definitely potential. There's definitely potential for that to be something good. I think the broadcast was really messy. And wait, what's New York? Some of you are saying that's New York. What do you mean, the rain? Whatever. Yeah, it was just so many voices. And who's the fella who New York's the city. No, but so's Vegas, right? Surely Vegas. Whatever. That is it. That Dave was it Dave Portnoy they had on there doing the coverage. It was quite. No, it wasn't Dave Portnoy. It was the fella with the beard who was doing the coverage of the thing. It was cool. It could be better. I'm sure a lot of lessons were learned. Like, it was very messy with the amount of people talking. And Alex fell over, which was funny. He's got, remember, so the shoes, right? I've still got them here. Obviously, I've still not actually worn them out. I've decided I don't think I'm going to sell them. But I've still got my Alex Albon trainers, and Alex actually he does have a new colorway. He was wearing them when he was doing the thing. Still got them in the bag. Alex Albon Athletics. Look at that. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep them. I think I'm going to try them on another time. So, bosh. Thank you, Chinwag, for the $2. F1 has ruined Vegas. We locals hate it. Sham. Chinwag, what is it specifically? Is it the disruption? I imagine the disruption is the biggest thing, right? Chinwag move. as BW's response. Just move. Just move. Just move. Just go somewhere else, you know? Hello, Law. Welcome, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, look, listen. Again, I'm open to it. Hopefully it'll be good. Lean into all the Vegas stuff. Let's just see. The Vegas, the traffic does look pretty shambolic. But, yeah, we'll see. Right. Anyway, morning. Mascon from California. Welcome. Driver standings. What have we got to fight for? Well, Lewis to Checo, 32 points now. Looks pretty insurmountable. But Norris is only 3 behind Alonso. Lando Norris, P4 in the Drivers' Championship, is looking very much on. Very much on. Otherwise, in terms of movers and Russell Leclerc's reasonably close, 14 points. It's more the fight towards the back, which is of interest to me now, because that Perez-Hamilton battle for P2 is pretty much done. But as you can see from the constructors, Williams 28 points, AlphaTauri 21, Alfa Romeo 16, Haas 12. So no wonder Haas tried to go to the court, wasn't it, for the US Grand Prix track limits stuff, and it got rejected because they didn't have any. They didn't have any more. They didn't have anything. They were just like, onboards. And I was like, well, they'd already looked at the onboards and decided they were insufficient evidence. But there you go. Classic, not putting a camera at a turn where drivers typically, fiddle with the limits of track limits. Hello, break. Sainz beating Leclerc. Leclerc washed. Wow. Absolute shenanigans. 22 points between the two Ferrari boys. 22. Mid-Preen practicing social distancing with P5, P7. They are, you know what, 80 points. They're actually closer to Williams, which is quite sad for them. 80 points ahead of Williams and 153 points behind Aston Martin. Beautiful to see Williams up so high. Well, will they hold on? I remember we polled you a lot last time and the belief was not there. The belief was not there, but we'll see. 2 to go. Should be a good weekend for Williams, on paper anyway. So, predictions. Who's going to win the race? Banger, clanger, team driver. Me first. This is Lando Norris's time. He will win. My main theory, my main logic that I'm basing Lando Norris race win on is that the McLaren is much better than the Red Bull at getting its tyres up to temp. Only logic is biased. Maybe deep down. Look, I'm only human, DH. I'm only human after all. As Rag and Bone Man famously once sung. So I'm going Lando. I think Red Bull could struggle. You know, this is something that this Brawn documentary really reminded me of, because I'd kind of forgotten about the whole Jensen. I'd forgotten a lot of the story of that Brawn season, how Jensen really struggled in that second half, and a lot of it was because of his smooth style, wasn't generating tyre temperature like Rubens could generate, and he was struggling towards the back at the cold tracks. When it was a warm track, hot conditions, he was fine. And yes, Stephen, thank you for the $4.99. It might not be 4 or 5 degrees, but even if it's still like 10 degrees, it's still going to be quite significantly colder than any other race we've been to this year. Probably. So it was good camera work, wasn't it, Law, for sure. So yeah, I think that I could definitely see the Red Bull struggling in qualifying particularly, and then if Max is going to win, he's going to have to kind of move through the field. And I just feel like McLaren's are in a good place. Lando's confidence is it has to be sky high at the minute. That's my vibe. That's my vibe for race win. I've gone Lando Norris. Your predictions, 982 of you voted. I put the poll out on YouTube community and Twitter last night, so thank you for voting if you did. You've got Max Verstappen. 47% of you, Max Verstappen. Shock. 20% Lando. 16% Charles. 16% Charles Leclerc. Fair enough. And 4% Hamilton. Do I think Red Bull will struggle the same amount as they did in Singapore quali? No. No, I don't, Liam. I think that, especially as Vegas has been resurfaced, the surface should be nice and smooth, that's kind of where Red Bull came unstuck, because then they were struggling with how high to run their car, and that shouldn't be so much of a concern, but it's the temperature that I think is going to be more of the Achilles heel, in my opinion. But we'll see. We will see. 4% Hamilton as well. So there's a little bit of belief. I think Charles is due a win. Oh, Adrian. I see that Charles Leclerc in your profile picture. You should know by now that Charles, he is the unluckiest man. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Charles has got a bozo moment in him, right? He'll put it in the wall when he feels like that. France, Monaco, there's many an example. Azerbaijan. But he is also very unlucky. He's been very, very unlucky, bless him. And I would love to see that, don't get me wrong. Thank you, Oscar, for the 50,000 IDR. I have no idea what that... I'm assuming that's not as much money as it looks. But thank you, Oscar. I appreciate that. It's going to be a struggle for Red Bull and advantage for Ferrari and McLaren on tyre deck. So this is what I'm thinking, Oscar. This is my theory. But the thing is, Ferrari run too much through their tyres. Hey, look, listen, maybe this is Haas's weekend. Because they cook their tyres. They cook them. You know? Frying pan. Olive oil. That maybe that's what you want when it's Baltic. So this could be a huge opportunity for Haas. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Thank you again, Chinmay, for the 5. You didn't have to donate again, mate, but thank you. Okay, disruption for businesses and livelihood for months. Traffic. F1 asking county taxpayers to fund this sham. Interesting. I am moving, but stuck in traffic for a week. Oh, there you go. So, Chinmay, you did actually listen to the advice of chat. Disruption to businesses and livelihood for months. I get that. The thing is, obviously, like Vegas is a place that's outside of Vegas is known just for the strip and the casinos and all that. But also it is a functioning city that has other stuff going on, right? It's not literally just casinos. So, yeah. No, I get that. F1 asking county taxpayers to fund it. That's interesting. I haven't heard anything along those lines, but clearly there's some kind of... Yeah, because I guess how much... like F1 has funded a lot of the event, but also... You know, it is an event in Vegas, so there is probably a... Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. That it's like... It's a bit rubbish for the locals, especially if you're not into F1, of course. Like, imagine, Chinmay, if you didn't like F1. At least you like F1. Like, moving to Orlando and complaining about Disney. Well, no, it's not really... No, but F1, this is the first time F1's been in Vegas and actually down the strip and actually taking up the... No, it is. I get it. I do understand. I do understand the misgivings, and I think, look, at the end of the day, like if you're going to have a Grand Prix in Vegas, it can't just be around a car park like it was back in the 80s. Like it does have to be like down the strip. You kind of have to. Otherwise, like, what's the point in doing it there? But yeah, it is a bit rubbish. But you got to think it's probably one of those things that in time, it will just become a more normalised... I mean, it's 10 years. You got it for 10 years, mate. So, yeah. 10 years. Damn. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good because we've got this for 10 years. RDR, is it Indonesian rupiah? Oh, nice. 1 USD is equal to 15,500 IDR. See, we learn something new every day. Thank you, Oscar. Very kind of you. Very kind. Cool, right, so you're predicting race win Max. I'm predicting Lando Norris. Banger drive. Who's going to have the bangingest drive? I'm going with Ricciardo again. It's Vegas. It's Ricciardo. And you know what? That AlphaTauri seems to have turned a corner. A significant corner. There's not many corners around this track, but I think it will turn around them quickly. And I'm going with Ricciardo again. I think he's going to bring the vibes. You know, he typically runs well in the States. He's a faux American boy. And, yeah, I think he'll do well. You've gone Charles Leclerc. 18% of you, though. So it's a very broad vote split. 18% Charles Leclerc. 16% Alex Albon, which the internet lad with the 2 NZ dollars agrees. Thank you very much. Williams big points due to straights, not hopium. Well, 16% of you think Alex is going to have a banger drive. So there's that. 16% Norris as well. 14% Ricciardo for banger drive. So Charles, Alex, Lando, Daniel are your top 4 for the bangers. And thank you, Elias, for joining Friends of Tommo. Appreciate it. Now you have now your messages stand out in a different colour. So there's that. Who can tell you with a straight face that I'm not giving you value for money there? There's different colour text on your screen. Wow. No, I appreciate it, Alice. Thank you very much. Amazing. Your name is green now. It's brilliant. Right. Clanger drive, I've gone for Verstappen. He's got to have a stinker, all right, at some point. I mean, even Singapore, it was the car. It wasn't really him. For him. So I've gone Max. All right. See, Jacques thinks it's worth it. I've gone Max Clanger drive. Deal with it. That Red Bull won't heat its tyres up. He'll qualify poorly and he'll get frustrated in the race because he hates Vegas. And, yeah. DNF Max Verstappen or some kind of stinker related to Max. Max is incapable of Clanger drives. Well, we'll see. We'll see. This will either age fantastically or deeply inappropriately. This man, the bias is unreal. Keep crying, DH. Keep crying. Keep those tears flowing. I love it. Thank you, FH4 player, as well, for joining Friends of Tommo. I appreciate it. Checo takes him out. Max will get off his... That's what I mean. Like, Max is just like, he can't be asked. He can't really be asked with it. Like, he's just gonna race purely off vibes this weekend. And if he bins it, it'll just be like, nah, I'm going home. I don't even want to be here anyway. He's by far from the drivers the most anti. Max is very. I feel like Max was almost born in the wrong generation. He's very old school, isn't he? Like, he doesn't like all the glitz and nonsense around Vegas. He hates the sprint weekends, which not all the drivers do, actually. I think there's a fairly even spread of opinions on the sprint races from the drivers. But no, Clorox, mate, it's not happening. It's not happening. He's Dutch. He's Dutch. Lewis, thank you for the 400. I think they're rupees. Alex, top 3 in Q3. Stop it. Stop it. Don't get my hopes up, okay? Don't get my hopes up. Max's typical 80s. Yeah, man. He would have been... Like, Max Verstappen in the old, like, Hunt Lauder era would have been unreal. Unreal. He called it 99% show and 1% sports or something. Yeah, well, look. Okay, so Formula One, the most famous race in Formula One is in Monaco. The definition of Western privilege and opulence and decadence. This is the American Monaco. Monaco is the European Vegas in many ways. Yes, obviously it's the glitz and glams a bit more, but in terms of the casinos, in terms of the no tax, well, I don't know if there's no tax in Vegas, but like there's no tax in Monaco, and a lot of income is generated for the city of Las Vegas and the state of Nevada from the casinos and all that. Like, it's not like this is a sport that has always raced at these pure racing tracks that are in the middle of nowhere. Like, we have Monaco. It's not a stretch for me to go to, F1 in Vegas. Well, yeah, I'm surprised this hasn't been on the calendar sooner, to be honest. And maybe it will be S-height. I'm gonna say, because I keep it PG. There's no naughty words on these live streams. Maybe it will be RSPB, maybe, but maybe it won't. So let's give it a chance at least. You know, give it a chance. I love Monaco. Yeah, Monaco's split-souled opinion. Hello, Dan. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. Monaco isn't tacky though. Yeah. Again, that's tacky. You one person's tacky is another. I mean, some people would call Monaco tacky for sure. And again, that's the stuff around the race. If the race in itself is decent, like, I reckon this will be a better race than most Monaco races in terms of wheel to wheel. It just depends if they sort out, like, if they get the DRS zones right, I think, because we don't want any just straight line passes before the actual braking zones. You know, yeah, exactly. Caesar thinks Monaco's tacky, so there you go. See, it's each their own at the end of the day. It's a global sport, so I'm up for it. It's got 24 events next year. I'm up for it trying a bit of everything, you know. Reflects the variety of the world, okay, and in the international population. But anyway, clanger drive for me, Max Verstappen. Your clanger drive is George Russell with those big, beautiful eyes and big, beautiful eyelashes. George Russell. 20% of the vote, 13% Lewis Hamilton, 11% Ocon and Perez, both the exact same number of votes. Yeah, I mean, you've clearly not got much faith in Mercedes if you're putting Russell, George, and Hamilton Lewis in P1 and 2 for Clanger Drive. I'm a world exactly, Lolly. I am a world citizen. I'm a citizen of Earth. Ocon living rent free. No. Oh, Esteban has had a few stinky moments in this second half of the season. Actually, I've been quite disappointed. He's had his bad luck as well, of course, but like his car breaking down in Singapore from points, for example. But yeah. Hey, Jamie's back. Welcome back, Jamie. Jamie, everyone give Jamie a round of applause. Big up, Jamie. Welcome. Love it. Ocon DNF is surely guaranteed, right? Surely. But yeah, they're sure clangers. But what about banger team? Banger team, for me, McLaren. I think Oscar will do well. I think Lando will win the race. So therefore, I think McLaren will be banger team. Not much more to say than that. Your banger team is Ferrari. We don't see that very often. We do not see that very often. 30% of the vote to Ferrari. 21% McLaren, 20% Williams, 8% Red Bull. Now, obviously, I'm sure some of you are like, why is he not putting Williams banger team? Because they're really going to... Maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like Mercedes' straight line speed really comes... Okay, how do I explain this? The biggest advantage they get from their straight line speed, to me, feels like, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, is on tracks where, you're running either a high or medium downforce setup. When it is like when everyone's taking downforce off their car, that advantage that Williams has in its straight line speed is lesser. But when everyone's running higher wings, it can extract more straight line speed out of those setups on their car. That's how I feel about it, So around a place like Vegas where everyone's going to be running low wings, yes, I think Williams will be in a strong place, but do I think they'll be massively, huge advantage straight line like they have had at some tracks this year? I'm not so sure. That's just my feeling. I was going to say I think people hate on Vegas because of how they've done it. It's just like Miami was. But if it was good racing... Yeah, look, exactly, Jamie. I think ultimately this weekend, if the racing's good, then people will quickly, get on board, I think. And myself included. And I said the same about Miami. But unfortunately, at Miami, the racing's not been good. If they can make changes to make the racing better there, then perhaps. But I think it's a bit of a stretch. Welcome, Glenn, as well. Finally caught alive once again. Tommo was hoping you'd be trying... Classic Miami shirt earlier this year. Glenn, I'm not very well. I'm dressed as a man with the cold. And it feels like all of my orifices are filled with concrete. And it's like, I'll be fine. I need to get some like honey or something. Does anyone have any recommendations actually for a cold... I'm happy to try almost anything. Not actually anything. But yeah, banger team, 30% of you gone Ferrari, 21 McLaren, 20 Williams, 8 Red Bull. And then finally, clanger team, for me, Red Bull Racing. Because Max is going to have a stinker. Because he hates Vegas and they'll have no tyre temperature. Simple, right? And Checo is... Checo. He's got one in his locker. Let's be real, right? He's got a stinker in his locker. Manuka honey. Oh, yeah, it's bare expensive though, isn't it? I swear they've got Manuka honey in like the big Tesco nearby, and it's like 12 quid or something for like a little. Might be more than that. But if it helps, then. If it helps, I guess. Hot water with lemon, classic. Ginger slices. You know what? I love ginger beer. Marie is my favourite. I love ginger beer. So ginger slices. Oh, that sounds good actually. Lemon slices, ginger slices, and honey. Yeah, I think I might. But it works. Yeah, if it works, it works. It works. Ginger tea, expanding foam. No, I need the opposite of expanding foam. Strong alcohol, maybe. Gravy, just straight gravy. Just a pint of gravy. Maybe. Mr. Hoppy, thank you very much for the $5.99 USD. Appreciate that. Sorry, not USD, Euro. European. Big up. First super on the live stream as well. Thank you, Mr. Hopping. Thank you, Jamie, again for the $2.99. Just use my super money, you plonker. I'm sorry. I'm tight, Jamie. I'm tight. All right? I'm stingy. It's just who I am. I will never be comfortable with spending more than £10 on honey. even if I sell this channel one day for £1 billion to WTF1 or something, I'll never be comfortable with that. Thank you, Almology, as well for the 5 Canadian. Long straights, powerful slipstream, and DRS. High emphasis on managing tyre temps and graining. How is this not a Red Bull and Max track? Cold as ice. It's as cold as ice. That song. That's terrible. I'm sorry. It's cold. It's Baltic. It's free. Well, okay, might not actually be that cold. That's the Amology. That's all I'm going for, right? They struggle to heat up their fronts, especially in qualifying, and it's going to be at least colder than pretty much any other track. It might not be 5 degrees, but it might still be really cold. Probably will still be really cold. So that's my logic. That's my logic. And he's got to come unstuck at some point. I mean, no, he doesn't, but he will eventually. Everyone does. All great dynasties fall. Do you remember when Schumacher was dominating? We're like, oh, this will never end. Vettel was dominating. Oh, this will never end. Hamilton was dominating. Oh, this will never end. Verstappen's dominating. Oh, this will never end. That sounds very familiar right now, but he will one day. Oh yeah, Kimi wouldn't. I'm glad Kimi's not racing for his own safety, because he would just not warm the tyres and then would just immediately just understeer straight into the wall. Imagine Kimi having to do PR. Maybe that's why we didn't have Vegas sooner, because Kimi just vetoed it. Was like, no, he wouldn't have said that. No. No. That was a terrible Kimi impression. Your clanger team, anyway, is Mercedes. 33% of the vote. 18% Alpine. The Palace livery will not save them. 14% Haas. Again, Haas, they warm their tyres too much. No, they wear them too much. And Alfa Romeo, 12% of the vote. There you go. Bosh. There's yours. There's mine. One of us is going to get closer, but I'm sure reality is going to be weirder than any of us can expect. And we have no real understanding of what's going to go on this weekend. So I'm certainly glad none of the teams are chucking in rookies for FP1, that's for sure. That's for sure. But we've got a lot of DH next subject. DH, I love your I love DH's like attempt to choreograph this stream. It's really good, actually. I respect it. I do respect it. Next subject. Okay, right. Shall we look at some liveries? Yeah? Shall we look at some special edition Vegas Grand Prix liveries? I think we should. Starting with Alpine. No particular order. I'm just going in whatever order it was. I think it'd be alphabetical order. Yeah, DH, I could hire you as a producer. Good boy. Alpine. Right, we're going to get some polls going here. Oh, that's changed, isn't it? I think the YouTube interface around polls has changed a little bit. Right, Alpine livery. We're going to get 3 options for each. We're going to do banger, mid, or clanger. Starting with the Alpine livery. Now, this is, broadly speaking, pretty much the same. At first glance, you might be like, hang on, that's identical. Well, there's a bit of camo built into the blue and the pink, actually. Both have a bit of a camo built into it. And then it has the Palace logo slapped on the side. So that's pretty much it. I've got to be honest, over the course of the year, I am warming more and more to this blue and pink. I do find myself actually, hopefully next season, where the amount of paint should be less of an issue and teams are using a new technology that I don't really know the full details about, but it enables them to apply colour, and it's a fraction of the weight that it used to be and all that, right? So, and it allows them to achieve these kind of wrap effects, because that's clearly not been painted on. That's a wrap that's been put over the car. And like a lot of the logos, instead of stickers that they put on, which they still have some of them, you can still see some teams that have clearly like a sticker they've just slapped on. But a lot of it is like the BW. So look at the logos down the nose of that. The BWT, the Mobilize, the Pirelli, the Microsoft. That's almost certainly part of the wrap, and then it's all just wrapped on Bosch. So yeah, Alpine. First of all, what you got? 16% of you saying banger, 67% mid, 17% clanger. I think mid is fair just because it's not very different. The merchandise they've done around it, I don't know. Palace is a bit hit and miss in my opinion. I'm not so sure. We'll see. BWT is not my sponsor. Well, he's not there anymore and they're still on the car. Get their money's worth, I suppose. Get their money's worth. 69% of you, nice, saying mid actually. But yeah, you can't tell from afar that it's special edition, but up close it's got some nice little details. I would agree mid. I think, I'll reserve my bangers for a later time. I agree though, mid. Mid on that one. Cool, all right. Next livery. AlphaTauri. Released this morning. Or midnight Vegas time. They actually put this out. AlphaTauri. So, what are we thinking? Many of you might be seeing this for the first time. It's kind of almost like a zebra style. And you know what? It's different, isn't it? They've dropped the big AlphaTauri from the side pod, made it smaller, and then really embraced that kind of all the little things. AlphaTauri invisible on new asphalt in the dark. It's like a zebra livery. It's like a little bit of a zebra. Damn, not bad. Yeah, you know what? I think it's they've done something different. They've pushed the boat out, which I respect and I appreciate that. I appreciate them pushing the boat out. What are we thinking? Oh, okay. You lot like it. 72% of the vote, banger at the minute. 22% mid. Only 6% of you think clanger. Yeah, you know what? I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. I think this is, especially that side profile looks sick. That side profile looks sick. And again, like maybe it's just because I'm getting more used to it, but even the red parts, the Orlan, the little bits of red on the wheels, that like, I'm cool with it now. You know what I mean? I think it's a good, much better looking car than it was at the start of the year. You know, you got your initial first impressions, but this now, 70% of you think banger. 23 mid, 7% clanger. Bosch, lovely. Love the airflow to it. It's a zebra. Is it? Is it though, Jordan? I'm going to say zebra just to spite you. Okay, next livery. Ferrari, the Grazie Ragazzi merchants, should I say. What do we think, Ferrari? Bit of a throwback, this one, to their old classic white on red liveries they used to run. You can see on that side shot as well, they've got some kind of lines running the curvature of the side pod. Couple of pinstripes. White details on the rear wing and the front wing as well. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? What are we thinking, people? Again, this is a big throwback. A lot of the, pretty much all of the logos also have been whited out, including Shell, which typically don't sign up to stuff like this, but they've embraced it as well. I do think on this render, this is a render from the F1 game that they did. I'd love to have seen the Ferrari logo on the nose be whited out as well, because it just feels like, they did everything but that. But otherwise, yeah, everything's either red or white, which for a cleanliness of aesthetic, I appreciate. The Siva logistics bit ruins it. Maybe Winception, maybe. What are you thinking, people? 58% think banger, 33% mid, 10% clanger. So the AlphaTauri's leading at the moment, for sure. of the 3 liveries we've looked at. It's AlphaTauri, Ferrari, Alpine. That's your order so far. We've got 3 more to look at. 3 more to look at. But yeah, I really like this. I would say, actually, I prefer this to the AlphaTauri, in my opinion. For me, this is ahead of the AlphaTauri, which is ahead of the Alpine. So I would actually swap. But you lot have given AlphaTauri over Ferrari. Cool, fine. Each their own. Listen, it's a free country. All right. Or free world, should I say, because we are global, aren't we? We are global. Next, McLaren. I've only shown one shot here because they've kind of gone down the Alpine route here. It's very similar. At first glance, you'd be like, well, it looks the same. It's a Jack Daniels special edition, this. So, big Jack Daniels on the back of the side pod, Jack Daniels on the front wing end plates, and a bit more black on the nose. You know, they've done this a few times where they just take that light blue off and then replace it with another colour. Which is, I guess, quite a clever way of introducing different colours. Like with Singapore, remember, was it last year? I think they ran the fluoro pink, didn't they, with the orange at Singapore. Yeah. You lot of, most of you are saying mid again. 53% mid, 30% clanger, 15% banger. So actually, I think this is doing better than worse than the Alpine for you lot. And I would agree. I prefer the Alpine to this. I'll be honest. I prefer the Alpine to this. It's just like next year, man. Just bring colour back on the car, please. Please, I beg you, teams. I beg you, because you're not worrying about weight anymore. You don't need to worry about the weight anymore. But this is literally like a carbon black car with a little bit of orange on the side pod, orange on the nose, and all right, the rear wings mainly. Sorry, papaya. I got told off, didn't I, McLaren? For calling it orange and not papaya. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's just mid. I'd agree with the mid. 54% of you now who are saying mid. 28% clanger, 17 banger. But I think you voted Alpine a bit better than this. I think. So yeah, she told me exactly. She told me. She put me straight. All right. Yeah, I'll put this as the worst of the 4 we've looked at already. Right, next. This is going to be an interesting one. Red Bull. Red Bull Racing. Now, what does this remind us of, chat? What does this remind us of? Come on. What does it remind us of, chat? What is this a throwback to? Inadvertently. Well, I'm sure they knew what they were doing when they put the purple in it anyway. Not a good colour combo. Philandra, were you around in 2012? Infinity. Big nostalgia vibes with this. Big nostalgia. You know, typically, I mean, blue with purple is and the nostalgia element really does help this one out. You got the PokerStars branding on the wheel caps, whatever you call them, the hub caps, is pretty cool as well. They're like poker chips, which is a no-brainer in terms of that approach. Yeah, you know what? I think this slaps. This slaps. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. 55% of you saying banger. 22 mid. 23 clanger. Interesting. So it's definitely not a consensus with this one. Definitely not a consensus. But it is the most, yeah, I agree, BW. It's the most Vegas-sized. That's a very good way of putting it. I like that. Wham bar. It looks like a wham bar, does it? What's a wham bar look like? I can't figure the top of my... Oh, it kind of does look like a wham bar, actually. Let's have a look. Let's see if the people agree. Let's see if the people agree. Does this look like a wham bar to you? Just gonna chuck it up here. Wham bar. It's basically the same, right? If the wham bar had purple on it, it would be yeah, kind of similar. Kind of similar. It complements the Yeah, you know what? I really like this. I would put this, for me, this is going, we'll say 53% of you have said banger, 24 mid, 22 clanger. I prefer the Ferrari to this. I think I prefer this to the AlphaTauri, actually. I would put, so Ferrari, Red Bull, AlphaTauri, Alpine, McLaren. That's my order. That's my order currently. Then we got one more to look for. We got one more livery to have a butch at. Nothing compares to the MVGP livery though. You're very correct there, Seamus. You're very correct there. The final one. Wait, people are saying Alpha. What? Have Alpha got their own? What? No, Alpha they've not got their own livery, have they, for this race? Have they? Oh my god, they have. What? How did I not see this? Okay, so there's actually two more to look at. No, I was... Right, Williams, what do we think, Williams? What do we think of Williams? What do we think of the livery? Williams livery? Because Alpha's not British. Oh, I love it. Right, Williams, what do we think? So they've done this a few times before where they just dedicate this kind of back quarter panel of the car to the special edition livery and they keep the rest the same. They did this with the British flag at Silverstone. They've done it a few times before. So what do we make of it? On first glance, I really didn't like it. On second glance, I still don't really like it, to be honest. I'm sorry, Williams. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but it's just a bit strange. Like, I get it, right? They've tried something different. Right? They pushed the boat out, and I kind of respect that. I very much respect that, but it's a bit of a no from me. It's a bit of a stinky stinker from me, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm trying to find this Alfa Romeo. There's no good images. There's no good full car image. Right, I'm gonna have to. This Alfa Romeo one's a bit crazy. I'm not gonna lie. So what are you saying? What are you saying about the Williams 60% clanger? Oh, 60% clanger. I think this one's gone down the worst so far, I'd say. Only 18% of you have given it a banger. A cheeky little banger. Not many of you. Not so many of you at all. But there you go. There you go. All right. And then finally, the final livery, which I definitely did not forget, and definitely have not been creating a graphic for whilst I've been talking to you. And filler. Is the Alfa Romeo, of course. I didn't forget about that at all. How could I ever forget about that? What do we think? Alfa Romeo. This is the kind of most appropriate image I could find. What do we think? Alfa Romeo special edition livery. Is it banger? Is it mid? Or is it clanger? There's better pictures of it. Well, you can look them up yourself, because this is what we're going with. Better in real life. So Jordan, you've seen it in person, have you? Very nice. I mean, it's mid for me. It's mid for me. It's mid. For me, it's pretty mid. It's their same kind of composition of livery. It's just got these cards that are stacked next to each other. It's a cool idea, I suppose. It's okay. It's okay. Mercedes is the only team not to have a special livery this year. That's a good point, David. And they're still not very good. No, I mean, come on. They're second in the constructors, but still. Can't even see the thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just the black car with this pattern on it. I don't know. I just 60% of you giving this banger. Wow, really? Really? I'm feeling very mid about this, as are 30% of you. So I'm here with the 30%. Do I want to head out to Vegas now? Tobin, bruv. It's a bit late for my invite. God. Thank you, Leslie. Albert Fabrega has detailed Alpha pics on his X. There you go. See, if you want to see more pictures of the Alpha, you can check it out on Albert Fabrega's X. Bosh. Lovely. Subtle and slick. Yeah, it's all right. It's mid. For me, it's mid. Bit mid. But there you go. Right, that's all the special edition liveries for the 2023 Las Vegas Grand Prix. My order of preference. So the worst one for me is... So I'm going McLaren worst. Then I'd say the Williams. Then I would say I'd actually put the Alfa Romeo next. Then I'll put the Alpine. So I actually quite like the Alpine. Then I'll put the Alpha Tauri. Then the Red Bull. And then my favourite is the Ferrari. Williams not last. Yeah, that's my order of preference for the Vegas Special Edition liveries. But there's one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap up. We've been going for over an hour. So if you're here, if you've made it to this part of the podcast or you're watching this after the fact, then the special word for the comments is PlayStation. I've got a PS5 controller charging in the laptop. So type PlayStation in the comments. In the live chat if you want as well. Go for it. Knock yourself out. But in the comments. And if you're listening audio only, that is the special secret word that you've got to. Well done, everyone. Well done for getting here. Well done. Troopers, the lot of you. You've struggled through an hour of an ill British man talking about Las Vegas and Formula One. Well done. That is honestly, I can't believe you've managed it. Every comment, wham. PlayStation, mate. I've always had PlayStation, apart from when I had my 360. Xbox 360 is my favourite video game console I think I've ever had, though. Best memories. I think that was my prime gaming time as a child. As a child/teenager. That was my prime. That was my prime. It's a shame you're British. It is a shame I'm British. It is a shame. Any special helmets? Oh, God, yeah, there's lots. Oh, God. It's taken over. I need the honey and ginger and lemon. There's lots. I'm not going to go through the helmets because we'll be here all day. But there's some interesting ones. Lando's is really cool, actually. It's got loads of snakes on it. But yeah, I'm sure pretty much everyone's got a special edition helmet. So 2026. Now, look at this, right? Well, if you're audio only, I apologise. But you can find this. Go follow Toby Gruner on Twitter. He is a journalist for Amos Automotor and Sport. And this is a idea of what they think the 2026 regulations will produce in terms of what the car may well look like. Look like. I am unwell. Thank you, Capybaras, for the for joining Friends of Tommo. I appreciate it. £2 a month game. Now, this is what they've come up with in terms of what they think the car will look like. First of all, this livery slaps. I'm not going to lie. If Audi pull this out of the bag, whoo, damn. unreal. There's some very interesting components to this. So obviously the front wings goes without saying. Very, very fancy. A lot going on. A lot of outwash. Almost Formula E-esque in terms of the angle of the front wing end plates. Exactly, Charmander. David as well. Got the angle there. And yeah, I mean, this is going to... If this ain't going to generate meatball flags, I don't know what will. But all in all, it's pretty similar. There's some changes to the kind of barge board areas as well, which you can't really see too well in these images. But again, there's a lot more images on Amos, Toby Gruner. Check him out yourself. You definitely, you squint at this one, it does look like the old McLaren, doesn't it? With the red front wing and then the silver. But yeah, look, I think it looks cool. It's clearly an evolution of the current regulations. Again, these cars will have the new power units in as well. This will be from 2026 onwards. And yeah, just thought I'd show you if you haven't seen these images. It's quite cool. Quite cool to see what the future could hold for this sport. And hopefully in time, you know, things will start to... You're always going to be inhibited by open wheelers and downforce cars when it comes to wheel-to-wheel racing. You're never going to get the same close proximity motorsport battling when you've got open wheelers that are reliant on downforce aerodynamic grip versus mechanical grip compared to, say, touring cars or whatever, right? It's just not going to happen. But this also is meant to have active aero front wing as well, by the way. So obviously we already have active aero on the rear wing, DRS, but also this is active aero front wing. 16-inch wheels, yes, Adrian, good shout there as well. So the wheels coming down a bit in terms of size. The 18s, I don't think they're fully happy with how the 18s have gone. They used to be 13s, but I think they're thinking 16s. If you put 13s on these, they would look pretty weird, not going to lie. I think 16s is about right. But look, listen, we'll see. We will see. Red Bull side pods. They're just not going to develop any more since then. Well, it doesn't look like they've got the undercut that the Red Bull side pods have. But yeah, look, it's a look into the future. We will see how this sport will change 2026 onwards. But if the cars look like this, I'll be happy, to be honest. I'll be satisfied. Because that looks pretty decent to me. But look, I'm not an aerodynamicist, so I only know what I know. I don't claim to know what I don't know. And yeah, I do love an Audi. I've got an Audi, little A1. I do love an Audi though. RS4. You remember the one that Clarkson drove up the hill in Top Gear against the climbers? That blue RS4. One of my favourite cars of all time, for sure. Right up there. Anyway, right, cool. I think we are done, everyone. Thank you all for joining me. We've got through it without too many coughs and colds, and I'm going to go and buy some things that will make me feel better because I feel all right in myself. Everything's full and it just feels horrible. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for liking the stream on YouTube, which I'm sure you already have done, so I don't need to remind you. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, which I'm sure you've already done, so you don't need to be reminded. Audio only, again, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Just download, just add it to your Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even if you typically watch on YouTube, just because then you've got the option, you know? You've always got the option to give it a go. Thank you, ACL, Carl, BW, Charmander, Alberto, Liago, Dan, Andrew, Marie, FH4 player, Pistachio Lord, Bernie, Chloe, Ajinkya? I think that's how you say it. Liam, Thomas, Nathan, David, Glenn, Alif, Noah, and everyone else. Thank you, Owen, as well, for gifting 5 memberships. Owen. Too kind. Far too kind. I'm just going to make sure I haven't missed any super chats as well. I've been very generous today. I do appreciate it. You're far too good to me. You're far too good to me. Bernie, you gave a super chat earlier that I didn't get back to. Better camera angle on Alonso car at Brazil. Australia. I don't know what that means. Better camera angle on Alonso car at Brazil. thank you, Bernie, for the $2.99. I don't really know what you mean by that, but there you go. We move. I think we got everyone else. I think we touched on everyone else. Yes, we did. Okay, cool. Lovely. Manuka honey. All right, I'll maybe get some Manuka honey. I'll see how I feel. If I feel like being bougie, all right. The gimbal stabilized one. Oh yeah, that rewatch qualifying. Okay, I will. That camera angle is so good. The wide camera angle is just top tier. Right, I'm done. Everyone, thank you all for coming. Goodbye. Be safe, be well, be happy. I forgot to bloody record this thing, so I'm going to have to download it after. So you might have to wait a bit longer for audio only. Bye, everyone. Bye. But see you Monday for live post-race live stream. And Sunday morning for the last lap. I hope I feel better by then. Bye.